Today, we have the distinct honor of introducing a true luminary in the world of success and empowerment. Sir Kaya Redford is a globally renowned success coach known for his extraordinary impact on Fortune 500 companies and beyond. His visionary leadership has given birth to the groundbreaking program Top Producing Faster to Your Wealth and Freedom, a transformative journey that has touched the lives of countless entrepreneurs and leaders worldwide. Kaya is also the host of the highly acclaimed TV show Top Leaders with Sir Kaya Redford. On this platform, he engages with high-profile guests from diverse fields, including business, politics, sports, entertainment, music, delivering invaluable insights and inspiration to his viewers. Kaya's remarkable accomplishments extend actually even far beyond the realms of coaching and television. He's graced the stage as a featured guest speaker on the esteemed OWN, Oprah Winfrey Network, making not one, but 3 appearances on their recap show. His exceptional contributions have been recognized with the Humanitarian Award by the United Nations, and he has been bestowed the prestigious title of a Knight, a testament to his unwavering dedication. Actually, Kaya's impact on society goes even deeper, as he is also an esteemed award-winning producer and director of the powerful documentary Homeless in America. Through his medium, he's used his talents to effect profound change by assisting the homeless and rehabilitating suicidal veterans suffering from PTSD. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that we welcome Sir Kaya Redford, a multifaceted individual who continues to inspire and empower others through his coaching, his television presence, and philanthropic adventures. Be prepared to be inspired by his wisdom and dedication. Welcome, Kaya. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you so much. That was an incredible introduction. I don't know if you were talking about me or some other person on the planet.
I most certainly was talking about you.
Every single day, I hope to live up to that introduction, and I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me on your show. I know that this is going to be a great topic, and thank you to your incredible man, Lawrence, for also hooking this up and making this happen. He's helping me in wonderful ways. Reach more people. So thank you. So truly.
Absolutely. Oh, it is our pleasure. Absolutely our pleasure. Now, obviously, you know, you've had a remarkable career as a success coach, helping individuals and companies achieve their goals. And so our audience, and we spoke a little bit about this before we came onto the air, but I just want to give you sort of, you know, restate the target audience. So our audience, you know, this is the Art of Consulting podcast. Our audience are IT leaders, they're self-employed IT consultants, they're people who want to be IT consultants but haven't really made the leap from entrepreneur to being self-employed. And as you can imagine, you know, there's a lot of mental barriers going on in each of those personas, if you will. And so what sort of strategy or mindset shifts right off the bat would you suggest to help these individuals?
Well, I see this a lot. So if the conversation in any industry is about someone moving from employee, am I understanding this correctly, employee to entrepreneur, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It is a giant leap.
Yes.
And so I don't mean to say this in a way that is to create anxiety or stress, undue anxiety or undue stress on anybody. It's just a giant leap in the context of it's a very different value system.
100%.
One of our clients, and who then became one of our coaches, her name is Sean Arnold. She's incredible. She's a managing partner in a law firm in downtown LA, and she does huge deals, acquisitions, mergers, a bunch of things. She was at one time an attorney at a law firm, and, you know, successful. They brought all the clients to her. She wasn't running a business. She was in the business, technically speaking, as a consultant, as staff. One could say kind of like an employee, even though she was paid a lot of money. But she never had to go and find clients. Mm-hmm. They walked in. She had this incredible reputation, and she just had people lining up to do business with her and through the company. At that time, when the market crashed and she, the firm went under, she then needed to go out on her own and do the same thing, but this time on her own, representing herself. And she said it was a huge challenge for her because she had never had a value conversation in her life about what her value is. She never had a sales conversation. That the clients were just spoon-fed to her and she would deliver great. And it was extremely challenging for her to get out there and market herself and promote herself. And she actually, from there, went from tremendous fear to not making amount of money and to losing properties to then literally, as she puts it, laying down on the kitchen tile linoleum, she says, linoleum floor, depressed and feeling like she didn't want to even be here anymore. And she said that the only thing that kept her alive was her dog. Her dog, she couldn't do that to her dog. So this is a woman that was at the height of her career. And then from that place, became, in context of becoming an employee, crashed. So, and what she learned is that it's a completely different ballgame. It's a completely different values. So I would suggest the very first thing is, please write this down if you're watching this interview. We want to help you, no matter what your goal is, what your vision is. Catherine, myself, Kaya, and us as a group, we want to help you, empower you with tools and wisdom and breakthroughs so that you can be everything you want to be, do everything you want to do, and have everything you want to have, including be an entrepreneur. What we did with her is a values elicitation. So values. Okay, let's just break that down first. What are values? Values are what drives us. Kind of heard of that before, right? Values drive you. They drive you and they drive your behavior, and ultimately that determines your results. Now think of the behavior of someone who is staff or an employee or works at a company. The behavior is you're given a job, you're given a set of responsibilities, and you go do that. Think of the job or the responsibility of an entrepreneur, especially when you're starting out. You have to wear all these hats. You have to be the CEO. You have to be the visionary. You have to be, as the EOS system calls it, you have to be the integrator. You have to be the manager. You have to be the bookkeeper. You have to be the salesperson. You have to be the service deliverer. You have to be the operations, and you have to wear all these hats. That alone is stressful enough. Then obviously you want to hire the right people. But what I'm really getting to is the values of a entrepreneur has to largely be surrounded around prospecting and getting business, right? Marketing. And it's a very different thing. You wake up every morning and you need to shine your light. You need to get out there. You need to knock on some doors. You need to shake some hands. You need to be out there. Much like in the wild, you've got the tigers and the lions and the hyenas. You're hunting. It's a very different thing. And I don't mean hunting as in a client as a prey, but I mean hunting as in if you're going to eat that day, you need to get off your butt and get out there and market and promote. Very different than when you're used to just getting clients spoon-fed to you. So what she discovered when she did the values elicitation is she had the values hierarchy of an employee, not the values hierarchy of a saleswoman or a leader or an influencer. What was missing? What was missing is prospecting. What was missing is marketing, getting myself out there. What was missing is money, right? For some people that you just have a consistent paycheck and it comes in so if you're used to just getting it and you're paid a certain salary and now you need to now go out there and create your own salary. So now you need to value money. You need to have hunger for money. And it isn't even about the money. It's what the money will give you. We know that. It's never about the money. It's what the money will give you. So what I would do is a simple exercise is I would ask yourself, I would find someone who is an entrepreneur that's doing what you want to do. Take them to lunch. Say, I'll buy you lunch. Can we sit down and have a chat? And then ask them what they do on a daily basis. Because if you want to know what someone values, the clue is, where do they spend their time, their energy, and their focus? Where a person spends their time, their energy, and their focus will tell you what they value. When you start writing down what they do on a daily basis, one of the people that we've coached and we've worked with, and I just saw him a couple days ago, his name is Christian Fuentes, Jeanette Fuentes. They're one of the top their company's called Remax Top Producers, right? Different industry. But the point is, what does he do? He's the broker owner. He has 3 offices, 350 employee or agents. And what does he do? He wakes up at 4:30 in the morning He goes to the gym. He gets back home and he cooks breakfast for his kids. He's the first person in the office. He's the last person to leave. He's always pouring into other people. So he's embodying who he needs to be successful at that. He has a certain level of habits and behaviors that gets him to those results. So with you, when you're interviewing that person who is doing what you want to do, that entrepreneur, you want to find out what are their values, what is driving them, and what are their habits and their behaviors. And I know this is tough. You want to write those down and you want to model them. What we teach, neuroscience, neuro-linguistic programming, is called the study of human excellence. You look at like someone like Kobe Bryant. How did Kobe Bryant become so close to anybody says no one has ever come close to looking and being like Michael Jordan than Kobe Bryant? What did he do? He studied the tapes. He walked like Michael. He talked like Michael. He thought like Michael. He did all the training. He ate it like Michael. If you want to become like someone, find out what they do and model it. You'll never be identical to them. You might even be better than them, and that's great. But you want to find out what drives them. So number one lesson for the day is you look at what's driving you. Is it an employee mindset? Or is it an entrepreneur mindset? Find the entrepreneur that you know is doing great results. Take them to lunch. Pick their brain. Figure out what drives them. Ask them what their why is. That's another thing. Your why must make you cry. Figure out what they do on a daily basis that is a reflection of what they value the most, and just start doing that.
Amazing.
That's breakthrough number.
That is very, very insightful. And I love how you had, because whenever we think of entrepreneurs, they're sort of like entrepreneur is so vast, right? And so you can be starting a company and hiring people, but you can also be in business for yourself, as in the case of the lawyer that you had just identified. Like she became a self-employed lawyer, and to get that start, I mean, I've been through it myself. I did this decades ago, and I remember the very first question that my then client asked me what are my hours? And I'm like, what do you mean, what are my hours? Don't you tell me what my hours are? And that is, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's the exact definition of you have to have a mindset shift from taking direction and taking playing to the rules of your employer. Now you're making the rules, right?
Yeah, and here's another big thing. Everything you just shared is so on point. The huge thing is that the big difference between, and we know this, I'm just reflecting back to you as a listener and as a viewer, things that you know, reminding you what you already know, but we forget. The employee has a paycheck. The employee has a safety net. The employee has a backup plan. In other words, hey, I just show up, I get paid. The entrepreneur gets paid on results.
Yes.
You get paid upon results. So if you don't get results, you don't eat.
Nope.
So there is no safety net. I'm not a proponent on war. I hate war. I want the world to have world peace for sure. But a great example, because we've kind of heard of this. If you've been if you ever heard speakers talk about burning your ships, it's kind of a thing we've heard out there.
Yeah.
But we don't know where that story comes from. Burning your ships. Well, it's actually Tariq ibn Ziyad in 711 AD from part of Africa. Him and a bunch of other warriors decided they were going to come and conquer Spain. Okay, again, I'm not into war, but I want you to think of this as a goal. Okay, a goal. They wanted to conquer Spain. Well, when they arrived, by the way, they needed 20, 30, 40, 50,000 soldiers or more to be able to even think about doing that, arriving in their ships. Well, for whatever reason, the other parts of the troops that were going to be arriving super late. So they arrived, I think, with 10% of what they needed. And so as they're getting off the boats, they're getting in the rowboats and they're rowing to the shore of Spain. Everybody knows they're unmanned. They're about to take on a country with 2,000 soldiers. How the heck are you gonna? So Tariq saw the fear and the trepidation on his men, and what he did is he sent some people back to the ships, and he had them set the ships on fire, and he looked at his men. He says, "You know what? Look, as our ships are on fire and they're sinking. There
There's
is no
no
retreat.
retreat.
There is
Yeah.
no backup plan. You either win, you either go forward and you win this war, or there is no retreat. You're going to die here on the beach. And what was interesting, and I learned this from one of my first mentors, Bob Proctor, God rest his soul, Bob Proctor, from the movie The Secret, an incredible, incredible leader. He said,
Toronto tornado.
Yes. He said two things. He said, number one, he said, when you have no backup plan, which an entrepreneur doesn't, yeah, you might have a savings, but that can go quickly. You really don't have a backup plan. He says, when you don't have no backup plan, you go after your vision differently. You go after it with 100% commitment, because in theory, if you don't commit 100%, you might die, right? And the second thing he says, there must be a great reward.
Yes.
There must be a great reward. The reward must highly outweigh the risk. So I encourage you, if you're on this path of choosing, do I want to be an entrepreneur? Do what's a little surprising. Most people might not say this to you. Set a big goal. Set a big, what they call big, hairy, audacious goal. Why? Because it's got to be so big that you achieving that goal outweighs the risk, right? It is greater than the risk. The reward, your reward must be greater than the risk. Because if your reward, why are you going to go after something where the reward is this, the risk is this? The risk outweighs the reward. So you're not even going to go after it. So number one, burn your ships. What is it you need to burn? Yeah. My son, I'm going to be transparent, honest here with you guys. I have a son. I have two sons. I have a 25-year-old and 23-year-old. My son is Kaya Jr., Kaya Senior, Kaya Jr. He works for a company in downtown LA. They have 200 or so high-rise buildings. They have a bunch of leases. And he is the number one sales rep. But yet, he's not happy. He's not happy. So he's not happy for a bunch of different reasons, which I won't get into. And so in deciding that he sees a bigger vision, that he could become a licensed agent, that he could put this work in and make a lot more money and have a greater impact and build a team and be, valued in the way that he wants to be valued. How do you do that when you have a safety net of a job? So him embracing the idea that sometimes the only way you'll ever grow your wings. By the way, please, if you're watching this, type up Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey, if you know him, he's the talk show host, comedian, incredible man. Type up YouTube, Steve Harvey, leaping parachute. Just type in those 4 or 5 words. You're going to see an incredible video where Steve Harvey says, and I'll kind of share it because someone may not go. He basically says, you'll never, ever find out what you're capable of until you leap. And when you leap off your wing, you don't have your wings. You're fearful that you're going to fail. You're fearful that you're going to get hurt. He says, and likely your wings, that parachute, whatever that is, isn't going to open up right away. As you take that leap, as you take that risk, never knowing that there's no safety net, no security net that's going to help you and protect you. You may get some bumps and bruises, but your wings, your parachute will never, ever open up for you until you jump first.
Yes. That's such a great analogy. I love that. And I would add to that once you have leapt and once that parachute opens, you're going to say, this is actually not so bad. Why did I do this sooner? Like, it feels great.
And most importantly, you discover who you really are. So I truly believe a lot of people, another piece of wisdom, and this came from Richard Branson, Virgin Records, Virgin Airlines, Virgin Galactic.
Virgin Galactic, Virgin everything.
He says you want to become, all of this that I'm sharing with you is the mindset of entrepreneur, a mindset of a leader, a mindset of an influencer, a mindset of even a salesperson that gets paid upon results. That Richard Branson said you want to become comfortable with uncomfortable. You want to put yourself in positions of discomfort, and you want your habitual life. I know this sounds really odd because it sounds so odd, so foreign, so painful. So why would I even want that? Doesn't even sound fun. to an employee for sure, right?
Yeah.
Because that we've been attached to the comfort zone. But for an entrepreneur, you know, life begins. Here's another quote. So you want to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. Another one is life begins at the edge of your comfort zone. Life begins at the edge of your comfort zone. So here's my question for all of you. As you're watching this, because Catherine's going to ask me a bunch of other questions. We're going to continue to go. What's your first takeaway? What's your first what's your first breakthrough? What's something that you heard, and whether she said, I said it, or whether it just spawned in your mind, that is going to give you that impetus, that push, that motivation, that spark for you to spark your fire and for you to go, based on what we've talked about thus far. What is that? Write it down. And then what does that look like as a behavior? Because we don't want to just give you tools and mindset. We want you to take action, right? They talk about the law of attraction. You know, maybe you're not as old as I am. Maybe you are as old as I am. I don't know. I'm turning 51 in a few days. And one of the things that the law of attraction, how do you attract great things? Well, the last 6 letters of the word attraction, the law of attraction, the last 6 letters of the word attraction is what?
Action.
Action. It's action.
Sorry,
yes.
I can't spell.
No. I said the same
action,
thing.
yes.
It's action. You will never attract, call it source, call it love, call it the universe, call it, even if you're an atheist, your higher self, your future self, whatever it is, you will never attract the support of this magical thing called life. You'll never attract it unless you step in and you have the courage and the faith. When you take that first step, the next step is revealed to you. When you stay in fear and you stay away from taking that first step, then what happens is nothing happens, right? We stay stuck. So I know you have a lot of things you wanted to chat about. So I think this is really amazing, this interview and what we're talking about. Wow. If I had this when I was 20 something, I wouldn't have spent so many years struggling myself. You know, I only woke up probably around 33 to 35 years old was when I finally started to learn some of this.
I'm with you. For me, that was also about the same age as well. And but in any case, you know, going from employee to being self-employed and building a company, I actually even dare say that being self-employed is one level, building a company is a whole different level. You know, and all of these different levels, like when you level up, action and all of the things that you had talked about are of supreme importance.